Beep beep! Hi you guys, it's Rhea, and today I'm going to be making a video on something that I've been wanting to make for the longest of time. And that one is tips, tricks, and insights of meditation for beginners. Now, recently, there has been a humongous uptick in the amount of law of attraction videos, spirituality videos, videos on witchcraft, magic, paganism, alternate religions, and everything else. And it's basically flooding YouTube and all other video sites with all these people talking about how they know how to do this, and energy work, and candles, and spells. And it's really overwhelming, I'm pretty sure, for people who've never gotten into this stuff before. So I'm pretty sure there are a lot of you guys out there who are just going to end up following, some of the more hyped up, fancier looking type of people who do these kinds of videos. But I just wanted to come here and tell you guys a little bit about what I know about spirituality, meditation, and other things like that. And easy ways for you to get started with either daily meditation, some kind of meditation schedule, or even if you just want to do it a few times to see what meditation is like. So before I get into the tips and tricks for meditation, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what meditation actually is. The act of meditating is using mindfulness during some point in your day. So meditation can be the traditional kind of sit down, legs folded, eyes closed, deep breathing meditation. You can meditate while you eat, taking smaller bites, taking more mindful bites, enjoying the food more mindfully. You can meditate while you walk, listening to the sounds of nature, looking at people's faces as they walk by. You can meditate while you write. You can meditate while you study. Basically, meditation is a very wide, broad thing that you can do anytime, anywhere, during any point in your day. You don't need quiet. You don't need meditation music. You don't need candles. You don't need some fancy mantras. You don't need a person there helping you meditate. All you need is your own mind and a few moments where you think, I'm going to calm myself down and I'm going to think about everything, look around at everything that I'm doing mindfully. Mindfulness meditation, traditional mindfulness meditation, is one of the most popular forms of meditation there is. But is it the best form of meditation for beginners? I personally don't think so. And this is what's going to lead me into tip number 1, the first tip that I have for you guys. When you're a beginner, sitting down, crossing your legs, in the quiet, or possibly with some music on the side, or possibly some kind of nature sounds around, it's going to be extremely awkward. Trust me, sitting in the quiet with nothing but your own thoughts isn't as easy as most people think. There's going to be a lot of thoughts that pop up in your head. You're probably going to feel like you're going crazy after a little while, and you're going to most likely wonder, am I even doing this right? So, if this is your first time meditating, or if you are generally new to the concept of meditation, I highly recommend that you don't try mindfulness meditation first, because it's going to be very, very, very difficult for you to stay focused and actually get the best benefits out of meditation. So if mindfulness meditation isn't what I'm supposed to do, then what kind of meditation am I supposed to try? Well, there are tons of different forms of meditation. I recommend looking up some kind of videos on YouTube or searching up on Google the different types of meditation. I already said before, you can meditate while you walk, you can meditate while you eat, study, write, whatever, in the shower. You can meditate basically anywhere. The one thing I just really don't recommend is sitting down in the quiet, on your own, alone with your own thoughts. It's not going to feel very good to you, and it's going to make you feel crazy. It's going to turn you off of meditation. Trust me, don't do it. The second tip that I have for you guys is going to sound a little obvious, I know, a little redundant maybe, but if you're generally new to the concept of meditating, I highly recommend looking up a guided meditation. They have tons and tons and tons of guided meditations on YouTube, And most of those guided meditations deal with visualization or guiding your thoughts. And for someone who's never tried to meditate before, thought guiding meditation is probably the best form to try out first. This way, you don't have to be alone with your brain. This way, there's someone else there with you. You feel like you have someone else with you. You feel like you have a guide. You know you're not lost. You have an idea of what you're supposed to do. And this way, your thoughts are more controlled. It's less about trying to clear your mind and more about trying to guide your mind. I mean, in general, that's kind of what meditation is about. The whole clear your mind concept is, a big phony. You're never going to clear your mind. Your mind is going to always be constantly thinking, moving, changing, and your thoughts are never going to leave. But when you're new to it, you're kind of new to the idea of that. So guiding your thoughts is going to be a lot easier. It's going to feel a lot more natural, a lot more relaxing, and it's going to be a better way to lead you into a meditation practice. So just find a very short, simple guided meditation. Let me see. I think a body scan would probably be the best type to try out first if you've never tried anything before. And if you're a little more into meditation, I would recommend a breath counting meditation. Or if you're adventurous, try something more about visualization. Maybe visualize being on a mountain, or there's negative energy release meditations. Just try out different ones. But if this is your first time, try something short, between 1 to 5 minutes, and make sure it's about something to do with the body and grounding, because that's definitely going to be a lot easier and feel a lot more natural. Tip number 3, and this is an important one. You cannot clear your mind. I have said this over and over again, and I've said it over so much because it's important and it's true. Trust me, your brain is going to be constantly thinking. There's going to be images popping up in your head. You're going to interact with something called the dark side of the mind, where sometimes intrusive thoughts may pop into your head and they're going to feel weird or scary or uncomfortable. And I promise you, this is going to happen every single time you meditate. Every single time. You could be a very beginner, meaning this is the first time you've ever sat down and meditated, or you can be one of those high spiritual gurus that live in the mountains of Japan who meditate every day for 4.5 hours at a time. It's going to happen, and it's perfectly normal. I've said it before, the whole clear your mind concept is completely fake. You can never completely clear your mind. And I've heard this advice, and it's very, very accurate, and it's very, very eye-opening to hear. Meditation is about guiding your thoughts, not getting rid of your thoughts. When you're meditating, you're trying to keep focus on one thing, and one thing in particular. You're trying to realize how it feels, realize how it makes you feel, and try to get as much mindfulness out of it as possible. And thoughts are going to pop in whenever you do that. And instead of panicking and freaking out, or instead of following the thought, all you have to do is bring your mind back to where you were, gently. Don't ever be tough on yourself. This isn't some type of life or death situation. Relax. Just guide your thoughts back to where you want them to be. And this is where the real benefits of meditation come in. Learning to keep your thoughts where you want them, not force them to be where you want them, and not push them out of your mind, but to keep your thoughts guided on where you want them to go, for how long you want them to go, when you want them to go. Tip number 4, and this is another important one, don't feel too much into it. When doing a guided meditation, more likely than not, the person who's speaking is going to say something along the lines of, feel warmth spread throughout your entire body. Feel your heart center opening up to light and love. Feel the negative thoughts leaving your mind. And I'm pretty sure people who are new to this concept are going to be like, wait a second, what does that even feel like? Or you might panic and go, wait, I don't feel anything. Now what? Nothing. This kind of thing is perfectly natural and perfectly normal for people who have never meditated before. You're going to wonder, how do I feel something? And that may be like a weird concept to think about, like, what do you mean? I know how to feel things. I've been feeling things since I was born. Like, that's what being a human is, isn't it? Well, when introduced to the concept of mindfulness, you're going to realize that you don't often feel things as you should. It sounds strange now, but trust me, the more you get into it, the more you're going to realize that this is something that's actually true. And what I want to tell you is that this is normal. You're not going to be able to immediately feel everything that they tell you to feel, and that's fine. As long as you stay in a relaxed state where you're able to guide your thoughts where you want them to be, you're okay. You don't have to feel anything. There are times when I don't feel anything at all. I'm an energy worker, and sometimes when I work with energy, I don't feel anything. And that's normal. Sometimes things don't feel like anything to other people. Or hey, you might even realize, wow, this is the strongest sensation I've ever gotten in my life. And that's normal too. Everyone is different. Everyone is going to get something different out of it. Everyone is going to feel something different. And whatever you feel, the one thing, the best advice that I can give you for this is to accept what you feel, accept what you think, and move on. Alright, last but not least, I got a question from one of my followers asking about visualization. Visualization can be a very, very important part of meditation, and it can be really difficult for some people. Not everyone has a vivid imagination, and not everyone spends a lot of time in their thoughts to the point where they can fully flesh out and visualize an image in their mind. And that's perfectly fine. Now, if you are one of those people who can perfectly flesh out and visualize something, but kind of have a difficult time focusing on the image in your brain, I would say visualize in pieces. Let's say you're visualizing an apple for some reason. Instead of trying to visualize the whole apple, because when you're looking at something, you don't look at the whole thing. Most of the time, you look at it in parts. So you need to visualize that way too. Visualize the stem first, then try to visualize the bright red round body, then try to visualize the reflections coming off of the apple, maybe it's shiny. Visualize the underneath and try to go piece by piece by piece until you have an image in your mind of what it is that you want to visualize. If you aren't one of those people who has a generally easy time with visualization, the best thing I can say is look for pictures. We have Google, we have WeHeartIt, we have Pinterest. If you're trying to visualize something in particular and you know what you're trying to visualize, look up a picture of what you want. Let's say you're using the law of attraction and you want to visualize that bright new car you want. Well, what kind of car do you want? Do you want a Honda, Toyota? Do you want an Audi? Look up the different type of cars and look at multiple pictures from multiple angles until you can piece together a picture in your mind, or at least kind of somewhat see it in your brain. And the piece by piece thing can go for everyone. You cannot see an image completely as it is. You have to go part by part. Even when you're looking someone in the eye, like even when you're looking at me right now in this video, I bet you're not looking at my entire face. You're either focusing on my eyes, my nose, my mouth talking. You might be focusing on 2 or 3 things at a time, but you're never looking at something as a whole, and you need to visualize that way too. Now let's say you don't know what you're supposed to visualize. Let's say you're going into a guided meditation and now they're asking you to visualize yourself in the middle of a flower field and you're like, oh crap, I'm not good at visualizing. The first thing I want you to do is get that thought out of your head. Stop telling yourself you're not good at visualization. That alone can do wonders for you when you stop telling yourself you're bad at something and just start telling yourself, I need more practice at it. It's a lot better. You may say, oh, nuances, but trust me, when you say something a little softer, you think of it a little softer, you feel a little softer about it, it's easier. Now, when you're going into a guided meditation, you don't know what you're going to do. They're telling you to visualize yourself in a flower field, and you don't know how to do that. The best thing I can tell you then is focus on your strongest sense. What is your strongest sense? Is your strongest sense sight? Is your strongest sense smell, taste, or hearing? Focus in on that and try to create an image from it. And if you can't create an image from it, create the sense that you're best at from it. So let's say you're better with hearing. What do you hear in a flower field? You might hear wind blowing past trees and flowers. You might hear little animals chirping and running around. Try to focus in on that, and you'll realize that images start coming naturally because you're focused in on what is stronger and what is better for you. If it's scent, focus on the scent of what is the flower field going to smell like. Even if you don't know what real flowers smell like, focus on artificial flowers. You've smelled people with the really strong flowery perfume. Focus in on that and try to use, if you have to, use stereotypical images that you've seen on TV, and try to recall that. That'll help you a lot with the basis of visualization. And since visualization is such a broad thing, and I know it can be hard for a lot of people, I'm probably going to do another exclusive video on it. But, that's about the best advice I can give for visualization right now. Alright, that's about all I have for you guys today. If you have any more questions, comments, concerns, please post it down in the comment section or DM me directly, whichever one you're more comfortable with. I'll gladly answer in videos, or I'll gladly answer directly. Since this is Instagram, I can just contact you guys directly here. But for now, that's about it. Beep beep. Have a beep-tastic day, guys. And try to stick to your meditation schedule if you have one.